At this point, we move to the other end of the table, to the treasurers. And the first question that we have is, what experience outside of your current role do you have that you feel will help fulfill your role as treasurer? And Ms. Baker, we will let you go first.
Well, experience outside of me being your county treasurer, I have served on the legislative committees along with the Treasurers Association. But outside of that, my community, I'm able to go and be part of those functions. Members of the Roundup clubs, I'm able to go and help in those areas to be able to promote those items that we have when we're able to go out and meet people and bring contestants in to try to help them to this community, to be part of it, to enjoy and have their good time.
Thank you very much. Well, let me just, well, first of all, Kathy, I just want to thank you for your 23 years of service and 13 or 12 years prior to that. But it's time to move forward. In some circles, someone would call someone who's been in the government for 36 years a bureaucrat. But I have been a small business owner for the last 5 years. What that does is, reiterating from my earlier conversation, it teaches you a lot about service. Because if you don't serve clients well, then you're not going to have them back, and you're not going to have word spread around you to gain more clients. Now, unfortunately, government has its own worst enemy because there's no other service to provide what it does. There's no iron sharpening iron. Government will always exist as it does, whether it has good quality service or low quality service. And so the experience of that service is very key in operating any government entity to bring the private experience into the public service. Thank you very much.
The next question we have is, what are your plans to address the state auditor's findings regarding internal controls and separation of duties? And Mr. Creedy, will let you go first with this.
Thank you very much. Well, you know, this audit report came out that showed the inadequate segregation of duties and also the inadequate controls on pledged collaterals. I want to be very clear. These were not a one-time finding. If you go on to the state auditor website and do a search for Rogers County, you will see this last several years. I'm not sure if it goes back 10 years or something, but each year the auditor does a report on the treasurer's office specifically. And if you look at each of those reports specifically, you're going to find the same finding year after year after year after year. Rogers County is the 6th largest county in Oklahoma. A lot of rural counties have a problem with not having enough personnel on staff, which causes the lack of segregation of duties. But this is Rogers County, the 6th largest county in Oklahoma. I mean, to say that we don't have enough personnel to have a segregation of duties is not quite accurate, and we need to fix that, and I'll be glad to go in there and take care of that for you.
Well, segregation of duties is something that Rogers County, along with almost 75 other counties that do not pass the segregation of duties. There's only 2 counties in the 77 that pass, and that's Tulsa County and Oklahoma County. So for our treasurer's office and other offices in the county, we are allotted just X amount of dollars for personnel. So as long as we keep that down, then our county budget can go for other things than for personnel. Now, what we have in place to help and to be in compliance is we have now set up a monthly committee to kind of keep track of how each office is doing, what you're doing to get in compliance. Again, we have cross-training in my office. There's people who can do the other person's job, but there's no one that can sit in just that one position and work all day long. So, but again, we're working toward making as much compliance with auditors that we can.
And our final the treasurer's office do to help increase county funding sources? And Ms. Baker, what did you do first on that?
Well, what the treasurer's office can do to increase funding is, of course, being the collector of the 72 million tax base that we have. And so what's in place to achieve that is, at this time for your 2013 taxes, over 69 million of that has been collected. So what we diligently do is, of course, at this point, is getting ready to have our 4-year tax sale. When we have our 4-year tax sale, that will generate more revenue and increase more of the funding for the office. Also, what's going to be in place for more funds to come is tax warrants are going to start being issued in July. That's not going to be a popular program, but I sent out letters of intent back in October, so that will generate more funding too for the office and the county.
Thank you very much. To be honest with you, the best way to do it is to go after those who haven't paid their taxes. And I'm very glad that you are taking initiative now with sending out the tax warrants. But as I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, but those haven't been sent out in the 23 years that you've been the treasurer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. And in the last 4 years, or maybe, no, excuse me, the last 7 years, and the last numbers that I saw in regards to the last 7 years, because they only keep records up to 7 years, it was that we were deficient about $1.5 million. How many teachers could we put in schools with that much money? How many extra sheriff's officers or vehicles could we put on the roads? And the thing too, to think about this, if that's only the last 7 years, what have the rest of the last 16 years been? How much money has Rogers County not received over the last 16 years because businesses and personnel have not paid their taxes?
Thank you very much for your answers. And now we will move on to the district attorney.